All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And I give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and do well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sensei elect. This is your brother Makazar from the Trinidad camp. Just want to do a little edification for the elect sake. And, this lesson basically is, about being circumspect. All right? About, focusing on the task at hand, doing when it comes to doing the Lord's work. All right. And when you're out there on the highways and byways, it's not always that, yeah, we are men. Yeah, we talk like men, but we don't always have to show that male ego or let testosterone cloud our better judgment, and then eventually it leads to an altercation out there on the forefront. All right, we know we're fighting against them demons. We know Jake be emotional. All right, and if you go out there and you act the same way with them, it could cause problems. All right, so if it could be avoided, avoid it. All right, you don't need to be the big buck. You don't need to go out there and show, hey, I'm the biggest and baddest. No, that is not what it's about. All right, we out there to preach and testify Yahweh Shai and to win souls. All right, the scripture says the servant of the Lord shall not brawl. So we ain't going out there looking for fights. All right, so if we could keep it 100, we could keep it running smooth. We don't need no altercation. If an altercation looking to arise, you try your best to keep it down. The scripture says if you blow on a spark, it will kindle a fire, roughly paraphrasing. But if you spit on it, then it will quench it. So the power is in your tongue. It's either you make that argument get heated, or make an argument get heated, or you just coolly say, what, hey, we didn't come out here for all that, so we don't need to go down that route. It is what it is. You don't need to have to let ego and pride mostly get the best of you, and then it end up into altercation. The guy pulls out some weapon, a brother potentially might get hurt, or the brothers beat that said guy, he dies, and then what? Court, prison. So we don't need all that. All right, this is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 25. Agree with thy adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast in prison. Now how you gonna cast how the adversary gonna bring it to the judge? Hey, you beat him up, you probably do him some form of harm, and then what they're gonna say, hey, is a whole lot of you is only one of him. Yeah, he might have talked shit, he might have did something, but it not merit self-defense, where you could say you gang upon him and beat him. All right, and that was self-defense. It could end up in his favor and not yours. All right, so I agree with him while you're in the way. All right, he looking like he getting all belligerent, I want to act up. Hey, don't even match that energy. Just leave it alone. Don't even match that energy. Just pray to Yahweh Shemi or Shai if he's like again out of hand, and just leave that alone, because it's not necessary. It's not necessary. A man, he could bring back a gun, he could do whatever he wants. You don't know what Satan gonna put in that guy's mind at that time. So it's not necessary. All right, it's not necessary. If it could be avoided, avoid it. All right, if it could be avoided, avoid it. All right, this is the book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Yes, we're in the midst of ravenous wolves. Remember that. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. We didn't come out here to brawl, and he said to be wise. Be wise. Choose your words correctly. If you see like a situation gonna erupt, you do your best to keep that situation down. Don't let it boil. Don't let it bubble. All right? We're not out here looking for fights. Don't let male ego get the best of you when you're out there on the highways and byways. All right? Because guess what? You might be a big buck. You might be the biggest and the baddest. But guess what? One of the brothers next to you might not be the biggest and the baddest. And then when that situation, when you think that situation dies down, that two-third, he could target that brother who was in the lineup with you, that's not the biggest and the baddest, and he could do that brother some harm. And then what? What's gonna happen after that? Then you might feel sorry because hey, you wasn't there to defend your brother. But guess what? At the first, it didn't even have to reach that way. Alright? So it don't need to reach that point of argument and fight. If you can avoid that, avoid it. And most times you could. Most times you could. Alright? Most times. Alright? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 27 and verse 12. It says, if thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time. And we always out there in the midst of the indiscreet. But be continually among men of understanding. Because guess what? Men of understanding, they will tell you, you know what, forget that. Don't even answer him. Don't let him row you up. Don't chill, just precept, just stay spiritual. These are what men of understanding will do and tell you in a situation like that. They will try to calm the spirits down. All right, so you always have to observe the time when you're among the indiscreet. All right, they out here, they ain't looking, they up to no good. So don't match their energy, because that is only Satan trying to get you out of character. And if you have that spirit within you, then pray and fast, because that is not benefiting for the health of the camp. Listen, someone could die because of an attitude or a mindset like that. Someone could die. All right? So it's not necessary. All right? And if one of your brother dies because of your mindset, because of you, going out and, having this ego that, because you're out here doing the Lord's work, the Lord will defend you, so you could just do and say wherever, then guess what? You just tempting Yahweh Shemiah Shai. And then if something happens to one of your brothers, what would be the situation then? All right? What would be the situation then? All right? Verse 15, it says, the strife of the proud is bloodshedding. So if you're going against a proud man and you being proud, guess what? It could lead to bloodshed. It says, and the revilings are grievous to the ear. All right? So don't let it reach to bloodshed. All right? If it could cool down, spit on that spark. Don't let it reach into a fire. Don't let it reach into a blaze. All right? Don't let it. All right? This is Psalms 105 and 14. It says, he suffered no man to do them wrong, yea, he reproved kings for their sakes, saying, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. So here the Lord, pursuing to Psalms 34 and 7, he sent angels out there to defend us. But not because you believe that the Lord Yahweh Shemiah Shai will defend you, you go out and just act the fool. Don't do that. We out here to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves, to wake up the elect. All right? Don't go around looking for bros. Don't go around trying to always be this dominant male all the time, because it guess what? At some point, it's not gonna be benefiting to you or the camp. All right? It's not. All right? Is the final precept here. This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 18. It says, if it be possible, Romans 12 and 18, it says, if it be possible, as much as light in you, live peaceably with all men. All right, live peaceably with all men. Yes, the scripture says, when a man ways pleased at Yahweh, he causeth even his enemies to be at peace with him. So remember that. He causeth enemies to be at peace with you. You out there, he gonna tell him, hey, don't do this guy no harm. So it's not gonna reach to it. The Lord not gonna allow them to, to bring harm to you. But if you pushing for it, then you tempting Yahweh. Don't push for it. All right. So just be cautious, just be circumspect. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemi Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who do rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and saints elect. This is your brother Makazar from the Trinidad camp saying Shalom.